for Nikola Jokic to be MVP? He got more cases than Perry Mason.
No, Brew, don't
Family
do
reference.
that. Don't do, who said that was okay?
Do the young people know who Perry Mason is?
I-
He's got a case.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. He is having better numbers than any of his MVP seasons. He is about to become the third person ever, Oscar Robertson, Russell Westbrook, the other two, to average a triple-double for a season, and he's a center. And he is, I think you guys have probably heard this. He is going to be the only player in NBA history to finish in the top 3 in the league in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. That's incredible. And I know he's not like a terrific defender, but still, he's getting his steals. So, yeah, there's a case, but I honestly think the bigger case is for Shai. And Shai is leading the league in scoring by more than 2 points a game, 32 points a game. He's doing it efficiently, over 50% shooting. He's a notch, 1.8 steals for Jokic, 1.7 for Shai. But Shai is the better defender. He's top 5 in steals, and he's a better defender than Jokic.
Drastically better defender.
He's the point of attack on one of the best defenses in the league, maybe the best defense in the league. And here's what it comes down to. Because obviously, statistically, you can make the case for Jokic. Shai is leading one of the youngest teams in the league to 63 wins, and they're on pace for 68. They're the youngest team in history to win 60 games. They got a 16.5 game lead over Denver, and Jokic is the one with the championship roster. I get it, they've lost a few role players. But hold on, Jamal,
you're right.
Porter,
Gordon.
Aaron Gordon, the coaches, like they got championship medal, and yet Shai is leading this cast of youngsters. He's a youngster himself, to 63 wins, 16 more than Denver. And so, and look, they're both having MVP seasons. You could argue for either one, but when it's this tight, a lot of times historically, it's been like the guy that doesn't have one yet, it's this close, give it to him. And like I said, 63 wins, 68 wins, if that's what they finish with, Shai is a deserving MVP.
Joker's the best player in the league.
Right.
Shai's having the MVP season this year. We have 2 weeks left in the season. They are still alive for 70 wins.
Yep.
They don't have another known star on their roster. Now, they have 2 other guys that we think will become stars maybe as soon as this postseason, in Jalen and in Chet. And this is where I get driven crazy by some of these MVP conversations. And where I end up having to repeat myself, but I will. And I wasn't trying to I was really just joking about the Luka triple-double thing. I didn't mean to put you in a bad spot. So I now bring up Luka. I now bring up Luka in a different context. Last year, I was on TV arguing that Luka Doncic, which, it wasn't a triple-double. It was just 34, 9, and 9 that he averaged last year for a team that was the 4 or the 5 seed, with one other known dynamic star on the roster as a really good scoring guard who had real limitations defensively. Hey, guys, I think maybe he should be MVP. And everybody said, Nick, you're wrong. Brew ended up agreeing with me, God bless him. 3 other people other than Brew voted for Luka. Joker won it going away. You know why? Look at where his team is in the standings and look at where Luka's is. And defense has to play a role in it. Luka's defense was bad. Joker's defense last year was pretty improved. Those same people vote. If they now this year turn the argument on its head and use all of the arguments that would have been for Luka for Joker and all the arguments that this year would be for Shai against or last year would have been for Luka against Shai. It doesn't make sense to me. I also think it's very noteworthy which great offensive players we care if they're really bad defensively. Because in my experience as of late, we just do it to Luka. Because Joker this year.
Okay, I don't feel like making this whole thing about Luka. We get it. You love Luka. All right? It goes, Mahomes, Luka, and, Travis Kelce. Just give it a rest. Mahomes, LeBron, Luka, Travis Kelce. Gosh. Listen, this is what's always tough about these conversations because you're talking about two great players who are having two awesome seasons. And it is always this back and forth between statistics, between win-loss record, which is also a team record as well. Obviously, it's not an individual record. So it's never actually an easy conversation. It's really not. It feels like SGA will win because there is such a discrepancy in wins, which we know they prioritize. We know that's a priority for the most part, unless you're doing something like truly historic, I suppose. But right, the Thunder could get 70 wins. SGA is balling, and he's great on defense, right? Two ways. Feeling like it's more complete, etc., etc., etc. But then you have games where Jokic is doing this: 61 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, all that type of stuff. And it's just like, I feel like if Jokic didn't already have the MVPs, it would be way closer. And I still think SGA gets the favor because of where they are. Because like I said, they might literally win 70 games. Like that just matters. That it just does. Maybe if the Nuggets, because what do the Nuggets have? 44 wins or 46 wins? What is it? Yeah, 47. I mean, this is it right here. Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets. 63, 49, 47. It's just it's a steep fall. It just is. They're 16 and a half games back. That alone is what really hurts the Jokic. Whether we say it's fair or foul, it's just, again, I'm looking at it through the lens of how I think people vote, not necessarily what I think is accurate. Because we say, okay, because even Nick says Jokic is the best player, and this is what LeBron always talked about. There's a difference between the best player and the most valuable player. Like that's what LeBron said when Steph won his MVP. Or right before, it was predicted he was going to win the MVP, and it was like before that. And LeBron was like, well, there's a difference between the best player and the most valuable player. And that has always been the kind of the conversation here. It's why the more I do this, the more I really don't enjoy these MVP conversations, honestly. Just my honest opinion. Because I just don't have it. I think it also becomes virtually impossible because we can't do the thing. Well, what happens if you take SGA off the team? How many wins would they have? And what if you take Jokic off the Nuggets? Like how many wins would they have? And it's just like, in basketball, it's same thing with a quarterback. For the NFL, it's just like these players are so massively important to their team and such the focal point that if you remove them, it's just. It just plummets. You can make the argument that Steph Curry, who's not putting up anywhere near these numbers necessarily, but like, okay, take Steph Curry off the Warriors. What happens to the Warriors? They plummet. They're nothing. So like we could do that with all of this. All of this. All of these players. So there's really no good way to do this. It can't be just by statistics. It can't be just by wins and losses. It can't be just like plus minus and well, with Jokic on the court they're this and without him they're that. Like there's just no good reliable way. It's why I find the MVP conversation in basketball some of the least interesting conversations to have, honestly. That's just me. I've soured on the whole MVP conversation, especially recently. I found out that Acho has an MVP vote in the NFL. I mean, like that's just wild to me. So I'm just like, it just doesn't matter to me, and I don't know how much it matters. I think these guys won at least one MVP, each. They want to be able to at least get like one. But I think after they get like at least one, like I don't even know how much they care, honestly, at this point. I know we know Jokic doesn't care. Like I think SGA wants it. It would definitely be a crowning achievement for him, but like. I don't know. I think it probably probably depends on the individual. I think LeBron would probably like many MVPs because he's trying to stack, all of his, like, he wants to be able to say, well, I have 8 MVPs and this guy only has 4 MVP. Like, you kind of want to stack those accolades. But I think the players like SGA, Jokic, KD, just any of these other miscellaneous players, Damian Lillard, like, it's just kind of like, yeah, getting one is nice. And then, like, kind of just focusing on other things right now. And so this becomes such a massive media focal point. And I don't know. I actually really am curious, like, how you guys feel about this at this point. Like, how much does the MVP, like in the NFL, it's kind of an interesting conversation because when you're having the MVP conversation about a quarterback, it's kind of like, who's better? Like, people are really still trying to figure out who's better, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Like, that ends up being this like never-ending conversation throughout their careers. It's like this obsession of who's the better quarterback, who's the better quarterback, who's the better quarterback. I don't feel as though we have that same obsession in the NBA of trying to figure out SGA or Jokic. Who do you want, Jokic or SGA? Tell me. And it's just like, so I don't know. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jokic? Do you think he has a case for the MVP? Obviously. That's a ridiculous question. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.